Welcome to Pick a Card, Any Card.
Where we pick a card.
Any card.
And make it an artifact in addition to its other types.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Devin.
And welcome to Spoiler Season 2016 Part 2, Kaladesh.
Yep. To make it a little less confusing, we are talking about Part 2 of the 2016 spoiler season, not Part 2 of Kaladesh's spoiler season.
You didn't miss an episode, we promise. Unless we forgot to upload one. So, we'll kick it off with, at the top, Noxious Gear Hulk, which is part of the 5 Gear Hulk. And my personal favorite...
One would argue the 6, because that one, Scrap Colossus or something like that.
Do we want to say 11 then? Because there are these Gear Hulks, and then there are the Invention Gear Hulks.
Their invention? Like the Masterworks series?
The Master series? I don't know.
I think they're called Masterworks.
That's what they are as a series.
Yeah.
For Kaladesh, they are inventions.
Oh, okay.
So the expeditions were, I think,
but they're still once again though they're still the same card.
Yes, it's just different art.
But there's that one artifact that was printed that is also it's not a Gear Hulk, but it's a construct, and it's in the set, and it looks like one.
Oh yeah, no.
Some people think that it's built out of scraps by the rebels to fight the Gear Hulks.
That would be interesting. It does. Actually, we should talk about it. Hold on.
Yeah, let's pull it up. It's something Colossus. There he is. Yeah, Metalwork Colossus. He is also an artifact creature construct. Like the other ones.
I like him because he essentially has affinity.
Yep, but he's the only guy with affinity, and he's not OP as shit.
Well, right. And it's slightly different than affinity.
He's a 10/10 for potentially 0 mana.
Right. Because he uses the converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. And I think that's very important.
Oh, it's the total converted mana cost. I just assumed it was for each artifact.
No, it's the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts.
Oh my god, that is kind of different. Like, on one hand, I'm like, oh my god, that's
exactly
OP. And I'm
affinity.
like, wait a minute, I'm like, a lot of affinity works like, oh, I play a 0-drop.
Right.
And I'm like, this guy, it wouldn't affect it.
I would say it's better and worse than affinity in certain ways, because fewer artifacts. And affinity only cared about the number of artifacts. He cares about non-creature artifacts. So you're not going to be able to drop him off of himself.
Yeah.
But the higher the converted mana cost of the creatures that you have, or the non-creature artifacts you have, the easier he is to cast. So you need fewer creatures to drop him, or fewer artifacts to drop him.
So you just run more Soul Rings.
Right.
Soul Rings and Mana Crypts and those artifacts that tap for mana.
Yeah.
And just play them all. You could I bet you could easily get him out turn 1.
It's possible.
In a constructed deck.
I don't know that that's true. I mean, it'd be difficult.
It would be like a series of alright, Soul Ring into Soul Ring into...
It'd have to be the perfect hand.
It would be a very good hand. Maybe not perfect.
It would have to be 1 land, 4 Soul Rings, 2 Mana Crypts.
Don't get me wrong, it'd be something ludicrous like that. It would just be nothing but the Power 9, Soul Ring, Mana Crypts.
And this guy.
All of them.
And a 12 card hand.
Yep, you could get there. But of all the Gear Hulks, I agree with you that Noxious Gear Hulk is probably.
And honestly, I'm gonna play him.
If I get him, I'm gonna play him.
Well, I mean, in a constructed deck. I've been constructing an Esper control deck for this standard since Rest in Peace Demonic Pact. You're no longer standard.
Oh yeah.
So
they replaced it with Midnight Oil,
which could be better, could be worse. We'll get to it. So Noxious Gear Hulk is a 5/4 with Menace, and when it enters the battlefield, it destroys another target creature, and you gain life equal to that creature's toughness if it's destroyed that way. Fantastic. It does so many things.
It is really good.
You can Nahiri it. You can tutor for it with Nahiri.
That you can.
It's a fantastic Nahiri. All of the Gear Hulks make good Nahiri targets.
That they do. Because they're all actually...
So yeah, all the Gear Hulks are good Nahiri targets. I like him the best for a Nahiri target because... You tutor him up, you drop him onto the battlefield, he kills something, he goes back to your hand, and then you drop him again and he just blows up something else.
You see, I like Cataclysmic Gear Hulk better as a Nahiri target.
It's a fantastic Gear Hulk regardless of how you get it.
That is true. But the reason I want the Cataclysmic better is because, 1, you have a Planeswalker on the field.
That's true.
So it gets around Cataclysmic Gear Hulk destroying everything.
Right.
Cataclysmic Gear Hulk destroys everything.
Yep, you get to pick one of...
Oh, wait. pull up Cataclysmic Gearhulk. I think I just realized something. Choose them a non-land permanent, an artifact, a creature.
Yeah, you get to blow...
So you can blow up...
Each player chooses
but you
from their...
Yeah, what I'm saying though is I just realized, but you can choose him as either the artifact or the creature.
Yes.
So you can keep 2 creatures, 2 artifacts, with him, or maybe if you have another Gearhulk, keep casting Cataclysmic Gearhulk.
Yeah, you can Cataclysmic Gearhulk and then Noxious Gearhulk, and at that point their board's pretty well clear.
Oh yeah, but like I think Cataclysmic Gearhulk is actually probably the best.
I think they're both going to see a whole lot of play,
but they're both really good. Like they both do very different things. Like Cataclysmic Gearhulk is very white. Noxious Gearhulk is very black, but it's just removal and a body, a good body.
It's a great body.
Like there's like Certain Death, which is a uncommon removal spell in Eldritch Moon, I believe.
Yeah,
like that's I think 6 mana.
Yeah, and it's like, kind of bad.
It is kind of bad, but people run it in limited because it's a removal spell.
That's true.
And like this guy is not only removal.
I don't know.
But he's a body.
I think at 6 mana, I would rather have removal and a body than
definitely.
just... I think I would pass over the straight removal spell at 6 mana. I wouldn't pass over a removal and a body spell at 6 mana.
But if you have both.
Instant pick in drafting.
Oh yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, because he's too good to not draft.
Yeah.
Like, unless there's
at the very least, hate drafting.
The only reason you wouldn't pick Noxious Ghoul in your first pack is if behind the Noxious Ghoul was a foil Noxious Ghoul.
Wrong.
Noxious Ghoul. Noxious Gearhulk.
Yeah. And that always hits when that happens.
Yeah.
So...
I just made a zombie deck.
Next up, Gonti, Lord of Luxury. 2 and 2 black for a legendary creature, Aetherborn Rogue with Death Touch. And right off the bat, I kind of like Aetherborn, largely because I believe that Aetherborn, much like a card we're going to talk about later on down the line, Aetherborn express a side of black that is often ignored. And black is not just like evil necromantic death magic.
Okay. And
vampires and undead. Black is also ambition and self-servingness and wanting... In a way, it's very much like red in that freedom is very much a part of black's identity.
Yeah.
You want to do something and you do not care if that's considered wrong or right by other people. You will take the steps you need.
Yeah, black is in the D&D world, it is not lawful. It's not strictly chaotic.
Right. And it's not
just like lawful is out of the question for black.
And it's just not even necessarily evil.
Yeah.
And I think the Aetherborn express this greatly, where the Aetherborn are a race that is created as a byproduct of aether processing. And they live anywhere from like 3 months to 2 years, somewhere like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have very short lifespans.
We also don't know much about the Aetherborn yet.
They talked about it a fair bit in the PAX panel.
They did, but I don't recall them mentioning really much about it. Like, it was... Like, yeah, they mentioned, like, yeah, they're a byproduct of using Aether. I don't remember them mentioning the life.
They did mention the lifespan. And so, what they are, they live very short lives. They don't sleep. They just biologically are incapable of sleep. Okay. They're consumers. They partake in all of the things that... the people who use and produce Aether and inventions, they partake in all of these. They want to experience life however they can because they don't live very long.
Yeah.
So I think that is a really interesting take on black.
That is particularly interesting. I like it. One thing I noticed about the Aetherborn thus far, they all have those masks. The same masks that, I can't remember his name, but he was like an ice planeswalker. He was more big on the Duels of the Planeswalkers games.
Oh, okay.
He was one of those Planeswalkers. He didn't have a card yet, but he had like a mask like that. And in like the opening cutscene to one of them, Garruk killed him.
Really?
Yeah. He was in one of the stories. I think it was a comic, but like it was the same one where like Garruk was like crazy. It was like Apex Predator.
Yeah. Time
frame. Where like this guy showed up and was all like. Hey, Garruk, I need to talk to you. And Garruk's like, you go away or I'm going to kill you. And just like, if you try, I'm going to freeze your ass. And like, they had a talk. And then he turned away to go away and then Garruk killed him.
Huh.
And then like, Jace showed up and had a talk. And Jace didn't threaten him back.
Right.
Jace said, like, please don't kill me. Like, I'll have to attempt to get the hell out of here, because Jace's not an idiot. And Grook's like, yeah, you can go. And, like at one point he mentioned himself, like, yeah, I didn't kill Jace because Jace didn't threaten me. Just thought I'd mention that. But his mask looks a lot like this guy's mask.
That's interesting. I don't think I remember that Planeswalker.
I can't remember his name. It was, like, Genex or something like that.
But
it started with a G, I think.
So, I like Gonti largely because he's an Aetherborn, but his ability is actually kind of fun.
It is.
When he enters the battlefield, you get to look at the top 4 cards of your opponent's library and exile one face down, so they don't know what you exiled. Mm-hmm. And then you can cast it using mana of any color.
Neither can you.
You can look at it.
No, if it's face down. Unless something says you can look. I think that's how it works.
For as long as that card remains exiled, you can look at it.
Oh, never mind.
You may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it.
Yeah, I didn't know it specifically.
Yeah. So it's like having Ashiok back. Although I would love to just have Ashiok back.
Oh, did you know Ashiok was supposed to be the actual bad guy of Theros?
Yeah. I'm kind of sad they didn't.
I'm not. And the reason for that is because I think Ashiok is definitely a return to villain. Because, like, the whole point of, at least at Theros at first, like, introducing Theros.
That's fair.
What are the Nyxborn? And it's like, if it's like, okay, these are the Nyxborn, and this thing is trying to eat them. It's like, what? Hold on, I just figured out what these Nyxborn are. They're weird and different. Gotta calm down. And it's like, it's a much better, like, return to Theros. Like, now the Nyxborn are being eaten by something. That thing is Ashiok, and whatever thing Ashiok.
Right.
But I really like Gonti. My biggest problem with him is the fact that I've seen that same ability like 10 times, as I mentioned earlier. But he is definitely one of the best creatures with that ability. Because you can cast it whenever, at any time, and you don't have to worry about colors.
Well, you can cast it when its casting restrictions would allow. But...
yeah. But you don't have to, like, a lot of red spells that do similar things that's like, oh, you can cast it until end of turn.
Right, he's not like a previous Chandra, where... it's like, oh, there's a timing restriction on this.
Yeah, and like...
and if you don't, it just stays there.
Yeah, and you just hold on to that card.
I love the surprise element. Your opponent has no idea.
It's like, what could it be? It could be anything. It's like, aha, I play your Llanowar Elf. It's like, no! You got me.
But yeah, I really like that particular ability.
Mm-hmm. And you just keep talking about cards I don't like. For very dumb reasons.
Well, maybe you should have better reasons for not liking things.
Well, like, I don't like Fumigate for a perfectly valid reason.
Because it's good?
No, I like its ability. But look at that art. They are just massacring all them gremlins. Look at them gremlins, Colby. They didn't do anything wrong, and now they're getting murdered. This is the Holocaust for gremlins, I have you know.
I'm pretty sure gremlins aren't actually sentient.
Pretty sure. Maybe they don't, yeah, I guess not.
I'm actually pretty sure they stated at some point that they're not sentient.
I assume they are sentient as goblins because they are Kaladeshian goblins.
They're
very different.
Definitely
from
not.
Yeah, like everyone thought they would be like goblins, but they're not. I really wish gremlins were a bigger thing, and I would
like to see more gremlins. Hey, maybe Aether Revolt. I think that'd be the perfect time for like surge of gremlins.
I mean, I could totally see like the revolt actually using gremlins as a weapon.
Totally.
just a gremlin ball.
So
destroy 3 target artifacts.
Fumigate, three colorless and a white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. You gain 1 life for each creature destroyed this way. This card is just fantastic. First things first, right off the bat, great mana cost, lives just outside of Spell Queller range.
That it does.
So screw you, Spell Queller.
Yeah, I love Spell
There
Queller.
it is. Oh no, it's a fantastic card.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
But Fumigate, I do really like Fumigate.
Plus, it's a wrath with upside.
Yeah.
The last unconditional wrath we have, I think, was Supreme Verdict. I don't remember the last unconditional wrath we had after that.
Well, there was End Hostilities in one of the cons.
You're right, End Hostilities
and
was
then
in cons.
Planar Outburst.
It's conditional. It only gets non-lands.
Only non-land creatures.
Look, with Nissa being a thing,
that is true.
I don't want to Planar Outburst, I want to Fumigate.
That's fine. Well, I think the reason Planar Outburst gets only non-land creatures
is because it awakens.
Because it has awakened, so you'd kill your own land for no good reason.
And I wouldn't want to Planar Outburst when I can Fumigate. I think it's a... Yeah,
I can agree with that, because not only does it get on the off chance your opponent has a land creature, you also kill it as well.
Right.
And you gain life for it, assuming you don't want the awakened cost. But
I mean, Manlands...
I really like everything about Fumigate, other than that little box.
that little box between the title and the type.
Yeah, that just is just Gremlin Holocaust going on in there.
Admittedly, despite them killing off all the gremlins, I think they did a really good job on the art.
I'll give you that. Like, this card, I would be so much more okay with it if it wasn't for that one gremlin right there that you can see the despair and hate and misery in his eyes before his last moments with his friends and family as they all die.
Well, that's a downer.
They did nothing wrong, and they got murdered. Now I'm mad, and it's your fault.
This is humanity for you.
Yeah, shut up. Now going on to blue cards. I see what you're doing. Bringing up blue cards to make me happy.
Why not? It's next on the list. It's blue. You like blue.
I do like blue.
It's a fine blue card.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this card.
You don't?
On one hand, I love it. On the other hand, I think it's bad.
Why is it bad?
I can tell you why. Because...
Okay, wait, let's first say what it is.
Okay.
And then you can say why you don't like it.
Alright, it is 4 mana, 2 colorless, and 2 blue. Sorry, 2 generic and 2 blue.
Well, that matters now.
Yeah, it is an instant. Choose one. You can either copy counter target spell, or you may choose new targets for target spell, or you can copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy.
So the card is named Insidious Will.
Yeah, so like the 3 are just weird. It is a fusion of redirect and just like cancel.
Redirect, counterspell, and twin cast.
Yeah, it's just like a fusion of them. That I like that. I think it's well casted. My problem with it is that...
Are you going to say the art again?
What? No, the art's fine.
Okay.
Fun fact, that's the guy who killed
yes.
Chandra's dad. And presumably Chandra. It didn't actually, but he thought he did.
Right. And Chandra thought he killed her mom, so...
Yeah.
We've come full circle. He's killed everyone.
Technically, this guy is innocent. Because he didn't kill either of them.
Well, he might have killed her dad.
We think he killed the dad.
We're not 100% sure.
Anyway, my biggest problem with the card is that, like, know what a card I prefer?
What?
Any 3-drop count. That's why I don't like it.
Okay, so that's fair. I will admit that having a 3-drop counterspell in hand is good.
Yeah.
However, what you are doing here is essentially paying 4 mana to have 2
options.
Extra cards in hand.
Yeah. I will give you that. It is. I like it,
and they are good options.
I really love having redirect in a deck, but I hate. Like, I've played redirect in a lot of decks.
Oh yeah, I
have 90% of the time sat here and went, I can't use this redirect on anything.
Half the time you draw into a redirect, it's a brick, and you just go, well, I wish I had a counterspell right now.
Yeah, it's
and this basically says, I am what you need me to be, boss.
Yeah, it's like, whatever, man. Like, you need
to
counter that
I'm a
thing.
little more expensive, but you can hire me, or you could hire those 2 guys, and one of them's going to slack off all day.
Yeah, like, I'm probably going to run this in a blue commander deck, because most likely, if you're going to hold back 3 mana for a counterspell, you can hold back for a counterspell. I'm most of the time. There are situations where that doesn't quite cut it.
I'm seriously considering running 1 or 2 in my Esper Standard deck. I think it's worth it.
Are there any other counterspells?
I mean, yeah, but they're like 1 or 2 mana conditional counterspells.
Like, yeah, this
is a hard counter.
Are you talking about Esper is a standard deck, or is it just like...
my standard deck that I'm assembling when this set comes out is Esper.
Okay, so it's going to be a standard. It depends, like, on like the meta. If memory serves, there's not very many target things. I can like Noxious Gearhulk, it's like first one, but
that's wouldn't
not
hit
a spell.
That. Right. There's a lot of removal that is targeted, and
like,
this will just circumvent that.
Elder Deep Fiend?
Not a spell.
Oh, you're right. That's the ability on the stack. When you cast, like, oh no, it's ability. It's like, yeah, there's like
it's
there's
mostly
not
it gets
much to
around
do with
removal.
it in standard. Yeah,
it is good to have in standard because it gets around removal, and in some instances counterspells. You can either counter the counterspell or redirect the counterspell to itself.
You can't.
You're right. You can redirect the counterspell to it.
Yeah, you can also redirect a counterspell to else. Yeah, you can also have it go to it.
So by the time that the counterspell resolves, there's no more target.
No, you can't, because he would have to be able to target him.
You can have that change... You're right.
Yeah, you can't have it target itself, because part of the resolution would be to target.
You may choose new target. You're right. Because you don't pick the targets on the cast. You pick them upon resolution.
Yep.
Still,
anyway.
Then you just pick the counter option.
Yeah, it's like...
There's so much flexibility here.
In that case, you just go counter. Which I really like. I will agree, I do like it, but I don't see it, the other two being particularly good. But I do agree that having that paying the extra mana is totally worth having the option to have a redirect. Yeah. On that one game where some guy's like, yeah, fireball all of you for like, not fireball, but like devils play you for like $1 billion. It's like, haha, you mean you, right? No!
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, just like little things like that, like being able to finally get out a redirect.
Actually, I think you can totally change the target for Harmless Offering.
You can.
So if I were to try to Harmless Offering the Demonic Pact to you, you could say, no, you're giving it to you, or to him.
Yeah, give it no. I'm sorry, but your Secret Santa is him this year. No!
I think the next card on the list is one you wanted to talk about kind of a lot.
I actually I didn't have any, like, ideas to talk about it. I like the card, Madcap Experiment.
3 and a red for a sorcery. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Madcap Experiment deals damage to you equal to the number of cards revealed this way.
Yup.
This is fantastic to brew around.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
There was a lot of people. I think one of the first comments was one of the first comments like on Madcap Experiment was like, "Oh yeah, Deflecting Palm," which I think is it's Ride Down.
Ride Down, yeah.
Ride Down isn't standard, but it was Deflecting Palm. Like, yeah, you can use Deflecting Palm to do all that damage to your opponent instead. It's like, that's not how Deflecting Palm works. Like, a lot of people were behind that. I'm like, that's not how Deflecting Palm works.
Or you could just stop that damage from going through.
Yeah, with like Personal Sanctuary, or I can't think of any of the white cards that prevent damage, but they exist.
You could use Hallow.
Prevent all damage. Target spell would deal this turn. You gain life equal to the damage prevented this way. That'd work.
Yeah.
You get a shitload of life.
Exactly. And it's a 1 white.
Fun fact, I just realized you could do comeuppance.
Yes, you could comeuppance.
And kill yourself with comeuppance instead.
This card is hilarious. I initially misread this card as put them onto the bottom of your library in any order, which would have made it the most ridiculously broken card in all of Magic.
I think they learned their lesson from Narset. Narset Proteus Staff is what I meant.
But I was like, I could just run this in a deck with no artifacts, and I think Wizards got wise.
Like, let's not.
It's like, let's not allow the players to stack their decks for 4 mana. That would be dumb.
My least favorite part of this card is the fact that there's no flavor.
I think this would be a great candidate for flavor
Like,
text.
yeah, just like, look at that art. Like, what is this guy looking at? What could it possibly be? Just the line of just like, oh my god, ... Like, that'd have been just fine.
In his right hand, he has a button.
Yeah, he does.
We can only imagine what's going on just outside of frame.
Just as expected, it exploded.
Let's talk more about feelings.
Aw, feelings.
So you know how you were talking earlier about, or how I was talking earlier about how black has more than one, like, emotion associated to it? Or...
Yeah, more than one, like, aspect of reality.
Right. They did it for red.
They did, and I'm actually really happy about this.
Plus, it's a good card.
It is, and it doesn't, like, break flavor. Like, even though, like, red... The card is Cathartic Reunion. And in the plot and in the art, the whole thing is, like, Chandra meeting her mother. And they're hugging it out because they both thought the other was dead. It's like, oh my god, Mom, what the hell?
Sorry, let me deal with this Tezzeret first.
And the card is very heartwarming. Ha, because she's a pyrokineticist. Or a
Pyromancer?
Pyromancer, that's the word.
I guess it's also pyrokineticist.
Yeah, like, they're both technically the same thing, really.
I guess so. I mean, there's
pyromancy is using fire magic. Pyrokineticist just uses...
telekinetic force,
fire energy. Like, it's not technically
There's
magic.
An argument to be made.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1 red for sorcery as an additional cost.
1 red. For 1 red, you can cast this spell.
1 generic and a red for a sorcery as an additional cost to cast Cathartic Reunion. Discard 2 cards. Draw 3 cards. This is solid and playable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great madness enabler, because that's still a thing, I think.
Yep.
But
I don't think it is, but I do think it's got potential.
it could be. It could be a thing.
Yeah, like, I like it because, like, discarding cards and drawing cards is in Red's flavor. Like, in Red's, like, established flavor. That's a thing that Red does. And, like, even though it's, like, the heartwarming, like, emotion thing, it's a color of emotion.
Red is traditionally a color of emotion. And I saw Mark Rosewater reblog a post by somebody who was commenting on how, and you were commenting on this too, how red is a color of emotion. All too often it is the raw, rage, anger emotion.
Yeah,
and
fight, mean, beat down stuff.
Which is
very primal emotions.
As this blog post said, it's a very fine emotion to feel. But there are other emotions.
Yeah, there are other very, very intense emotions to feel, and this one is one. Like, and it's like, there's not even an emotion really being mentioned. It's just like...
It's catharsis.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Derp.
It's Catharsis Crusade. Made a joke about Catharsis Crusade.
Oh yeah, I was like, Catharsis Crusade. What card is that? I'm like, I know this card. What does it do? Oh yeah, it's a joke on a card that I do know. Nonetheless, I like it. I don't think it's going to be particularly run through the fact that if you top deck it with no cards in it.
Yeah, it's a gambit.
Yeah,
maybe
like,
a 1 of or 2
if it was
of in a lot
draw
of decks.
3, discard 2, that'd be one thing.
Well, then it'd be blue.
Well, no, because still discarding and drawing cards. Though, one thing I do want to point out, the fact that, like, you discard 2, you lost, they both died. They both lost each other.
Okay.
It's like, it's, if
you, me, and Tezzeret.
If you work really hard, you can find some symbolism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work that hard.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to talk about Comball, Council of Allocation. This guy, he allocates. 1 generic, a white, and a black. Are you okay?
He does allocate. He's just a dick. He's just going to allocate all this to me.
For a legendary...
Exclusively to me.
Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And really, yeah, you're right. He's just...
You're right, he does allocate, but it's exclusively to himself because he's
like,
an
here,
asshole.
I'm going to borrow this 2 life. What I like about him is even if your opponent lightning bolts him, they still lose 2 life. And if your opponent's running, like, burn or heavy spells...
It's spell tax.
They've really got to get rid of him just right away.
Yeah. Like, he would be fun to play in as a commander, just due to the fact that, like...
Oh, yeah.
You play him, and it's just like, every time someone plays a spell, it's like, spell tax! Like, lose your life.
I'm actually seriously considering putting him into my Teysa deck. Maybe not switching Teysa out for him, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely put him in there. I would make him your commander.
It's worth considering depending on what other commanders are seeing play, I think.
I would, well, your commander deck is if my memory is correct, or at least tried to be
it's an extort deck,
extort
basically.
deck, yeah. Of like, and this guy's got very close to extort,
yeah,
but isn't extort, but it's close enough that, like...
Plus he's 5 less mana than my commander.
Yeah. He's 4 less mana. He's 3. Still,
Okay.
You will actually play him.
But it's just so fun to see my foil Teysa just sitting there.
Well, you can still run Teysa in the deck. You just run him as one day, like, yeah, Teysa butts.
So yeah, I think... So speaking of life and...
Allocating it to yourself exclusively.
Let's do that. I think we both love this next card.
I love this card so much.
Aetherflux Reservoir. 4 generic for an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. So, 1 is 1, 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 6. It's exponential.
Yep.
I just now realized that that's an ability on that card.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the better of the abilities.
It doesn't even matter. I love...
But it's really good.
I was very...
Like, both abilities are solid abilities, and one leads into the other.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I was so focused on the pay 50 life, Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. Mm-hmm. That's what I was focused on. I completely glossed over the fact that it just gets you there.
I super want to play, like, a life gain deck, and then just, like, pump 50 life into a Bird of Paradise. You see that bird? Yeah, fuck that bird. I pay 50 life, kill it. Why didn't you just kill me? Because screw you. Kill the bird.
I want to... well, now that I know that that's an option, this also might have a home in my Teysa EDH deck.
Yeah.
Because I cast a lot of spells in that deck.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them will gain me life.
Yeah.
But I want to really run it with Ajani, Mentor of Heroes.
Where you just gain 100 life.
His ultimate Ajani, gain 100 life, blow up 2 creatures.
My biggest problem with this card is the fact that you don't, when you pay the 50 life, you don't sacrifice.
Why is that a problem?
Because it is clearly a water tower, and just in my head, like, the reason this happens is because you literally, like, break one of the legs and have it fall on someone.
No.
And it explodes.
It's not even that.
You pump too much into it. You have reached maximum capacity, and it explodes.
You hook up a fire hose and just open the nozzle.
Well, even then, like, why pay 50 life? Like, you just pay X life and deal X damage. That'd be OP. I give you that, but it's that, once again, it would make this card worse, but it would make more sense, like, lore-wise and in my head. And my head is more important than anything. So.
But yeah, I like the ability that you can just chain a Johnny into this twice. You can do this. You can target your own Boros Reckoner.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I don't know.
Because you hate your Boros Reckoner. I feel sorry for Boros Reckoner. Like, it's just an abusive relationship after abusive relationship.
It really is.
Because I'm just like, alright, I'm going to beat the shit out of my own creatures. Like, why you do this?
Aetherflux Reservoir, Nahiri's Wrath, to just get that damage into a player
or
instead of
anything.
A creature.
It's like I swing Boros Reckoner at you, and you have 2 Ulamog's and an Emrakul on the field. I swing my 3/3. It's like, why? I don't want to go out there. They're gonna kill me.
I like the first comment on this Aetherflux Reservoir. My favorite part of this card: creature or player. Yes, finally hit 51 life. Now your Raging Goblin is gonna really regret being born.
Yes! One thing I do like about this card is it is very similar to Felidar Sovereign.
I believe, yes.
The one that is if you have 40 or more life, you win.
I think that's it.
But he's a creature, and he's a little bit...
Oh, you know what?
It's better and worse, because one, he gains life. The thing gains life. So it actually reaches the goal. Oh, he has lifelink, so he also does help reach the goal. But 2, because he, like, just you win the game.
Right.
Is a little boring. Like, paying 50 life, dealing 50 damage. Let's be real here. If you deal 50 damage to target player,
you win the
90%
game?
90% of the time you win the game.
Can we put together a deck that has Aetherflux Reservoir and Test of Endurance?
Yes.
To completely counter, like, these cards counter each other.
No, what you do is you gain life until you, like, I'm at 51. Alright. Oh, wait, shit. Once you're at 50, you pay... Test of Endurance is the one if you have life.
If you, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 50 or more life, you win.
Oh, I was thinking the one if you're at 1 or close call or something like that. Like, put yourself at 50, cast that, you gain 1 because the water tower.
Right. And then
pay the 50 to put yourself down to 1.
In response...
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
It's probably one of my favorite artifacts from the set thus far. It's definitely not the best.
No. This next one is the best.
The best one is by far Panharmonicon.
4 mana for an artifact. More artifacts. Artifacts for days. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Now, I like that it is of a permanent you control.
Yes.
That's nice.
That is nice and useful.
I kind of wish it wasn't that, because it would be way more hilarious if it was just any time.
It'd be more fun, just like, you have a creature, so you also lose a life because of, like, my Bloodseeker. Or, like, Suture Priest or something like that. Or, now I have Soul Sisters, so now every time you play a creature, I get more life. It's like, crap. It would have a downside. I love this card because this card is amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You put it in so many decks, like, Goat deck, you put it in. You put it in that Norn the Wary deck. You put it in any deck whose, like, primary ability is enter the battlefield triggers.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's definitely going to be a commander staple card.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I originally thought this is going to get banned in Commander immediately, but now I'm second-guessing myself because Torpor Orb is so commonly ran. So it might balance each other out, because Torpor Orb just shuts this down entirely.
Yes, but Torpor Orb, like, there's a reason why people run Crossing Grip, and Torpor Orb is, like, if your deck is focused a lot around enter the battlefield,
Right.
Torpor Orb is high on the list of things to just kill.
Right.
That being said, a lot of Commander decks also have their own enter the battlefield abilities,
Right.
and Torpor Orb shuts themselves down. Can't run that.
It's a toss-up. Because there are lots and
I
lots
don't think it'll get banned in Commander, due to the fact that Commander, it's really hard to have a card banned.
It's possible, though.
It is possible.
So, I don't know. This one's got a chance, I think.
Like, this card is up there with, like, Soul Ring, where, like, it's not OP, it's not busted, but it's going to be...
universal.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sensei's Divining Top. Where it's colorless, so it can be run in literally any deck, and any deck, almost every deck wants to.
Yeah.
It is harder for me to think of a deck that I don't want to run it in than a deck where I do. Or it's hard.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
Like, it is super good, and it's one of those cards that, like, I prefer it just not exist.
You want to know what I want to run this in a deck with?
What?
Authority of the Consuls.
Yeah. Authority. No joke. Like, Soul Sisters has now an enchantment brother.
And yeah, no joke. This card is ridiculous.
The dog.
Authority of the Consuls is 1 white for an enchantment. Keep that mana cost in mind, folks. 1 white. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. This is an ability that we have only seen on 2 and 3 cost. You know, nothing 1 cost.
Yeah, but those other ones also had really good abilities to follow up. He says, even though this one also has a really
This
good
one has
ability to
an
follow
amazing ability that follows up. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. Every time your opponent drops something tapped, you gain a life.
Yep.
Let's put that in a deck with Panhard Manacon. Let's just do that.
Yep.
Because then you gain 2 life. And it comes into play tapped twice.
No, it doesn't, because that's not a triggered ability.
You're right, it's not.
But like, oh my god, that's good.
It's fantastic.
It is.
What are you doing, wizards?
Like, that is super good, and probably one of my favorite parts of Authority of the Consuls is because I really like Soul Sisters just as a concept.
Oh, yeah.
So you go green-white, Authority of the Consuls, Essence Warden, Soul something.
Essence Warden, Soul's Warden, Soul's Attendant.
Soul's Attendant, that's it. Soul's Attendant and Suture Priest. It's just, everybody makes a creature, everyone dies, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna run it for my Feldergriff deck.
I mean, it is imposing Sovereign on a body with upside. Or sorry, not on a body. It's imposing Sovereign on an enchantment with upside.
Which is even better.
Because it's so much harder to get rid of.
And you can use Wrath. Well, it's not harder to get rid of, but like, you have to specifically get rid of it.
Right.
There are very few enchantment wraths, and they're like 5-drops, and since this is a 1-drop by the time someone plays, like, I think it's Merciless Eviction.
Yeah.
Like, is like the one I can think of. It's like, by the time someone plays Merciless Eviction, they're not using it to get rid of Authority of the Consuls, they're using it to get rid of something else. And Authority goes away anyway, but you've gained like 30 life off of it.
Right. Usually by the time somebody can blow this up, especially because green isn't doing artifact and enchantment hate this time around, which is kind of cool.
Well, that's because, like, that's the whole point
of
Kaladesh.
I like it. There does have to be, I think it falls to red now to do that, but
it falls to the gremlins.
I don't know. I think it's fantastic. Oh man, we have such a fun card.
Oh yeah, Midnight Oil. Yeah.
So, I want to lead off by saying this is nowhere near as fun as Demonic Pact.
No, it's not.
But it does fill that void, in a way.
Yeah, it is definitely the harmless offering card.
So, Midnight Oil is 2 generic and 2 black for an enchantment.
Hold on, I want to point out the fact. Remember earlier, when I was talking about Felidar Sovereign, and I said, you know what's boring? Win the game.
Yeah.
Cards that just say win the game. You know what we're talking about is really good, really fun right now?
Losing the
Cards
game?
that say you lose the game.
Yeah. Losing the game is way more interesting than winning the game.
Like, yeah, it's like, that's weird.
I like, as we've talked about before, I apparently hate playing Magic.
That you do.
But it's just because it's more fun that way.
You know what's more fun than playing Magic? Not playing Magic.
Midnight Oil enters the battlefield with 7... Oh. So Midnight Oil enters the battlefield with 7-hour counters on it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not time counters? When they had the Japanese version of this card up, the translation said time counters, and now I see hour counters, and I'm like, why did you do that? Why not time counters?
I'm going to assume that, hold on, there's 7 hours in a night?
No, I want time counters because I can abuse time counters. I can't abuse hour counters.
I think that's why. It's because there's too many time counter things.
I can clock spinning Midnight Oil if it has time counters. I can't clock spinning it now.
Yeah, there's too much interaction with it. So let's just not have that.
So at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card and remove 2 hour counters from Midnight Oil.
No. Oh, it is draw an additional. I thought I sworn I was draw 2 additional cards.
Nope, just 1. So you draw 2 cards, and you remove 2 hour counters.
Yeah.
Makes sense, thematically.
Yeah.
Your maximum hand size is equal to the number of hour counters on Midnight Oil. Whenever you discard a card, you lose 1 life.
I want to point out the fact that you're burning the Midnight Oil. That's the point of the card.
No, I like it.
In the next morning, you're super tired.
Right. It makes sense. Your brain is not quite functioning at peak capacity by the time you're done.
So what you do is you somehow give that tiredness to someone else. Harmless offering.
You put it in a cat and you hand it to them.
Yeah. And the cat will keep them up. It's a cat.
Right. And cats are good at absolutely nothing if they are not good at keeping you awake. Personal experience has taught me this. But yeah, I mean, it's great for harmless offering. I mean, you can burn the Midnight Oil for as long as you like, and then just give your opponent what's left, and then say, yeah.
Well, the problem is you're going to be you're either going to let your opponent draw a card, or you're going to have a point where your maximum hand size is 5.
You know what this goes great in?
Or 3. What?
If this goes great in? Your draw deck.
Why?
You donate this to them, because you do have a donate.
I do?
Yeah.
When did I get a donate?
It's an old card. It's blue.
Yeah, but I don't have...
You should get one. But you can donate this to them.
Okay.
And then force them to draw lots of cards. And then they have to discard at the end of turn and lose the life. You're just basically driving needles into their face.
You really want to run this with Tezzeret's Gambit to proliferate just once. Just once. So that way, and you draw more. So that way, you didn't make it 2 counters. Or 8 counters, and then you get down to 0. So, your maximum hand size is now 0.
I think, there are some creatures that'll do that for you.
I think Thrumming Bird is the only bird I can...
No, not proliferate. Reduce your maximum hand size. Thought Nibbler reduces your maximum hand size by 2.
Yeah, yours.
Yeah, you can give it to them.
Alright, you're already giving them 1 card.
Well, you need more targets for donate.
That is true, but, assuming I had more than 1 donate... And more than 1 target.
Get rid of it.
You said donate was 1 blue?
No, it's in blue. I think it's 2.
Oh, because if you do that, you can put that on an Isochron set. Anyway, another good removal spot. I don't know if it's good or not. It is definitely going to have spots in some decks, like token decks.
Token decks will love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's black, so there's not a lot of black tokens.
That's true. I guess Shadowborn Apostle will be the one I'd do it.
We're talking about eliminating the competition with Eliminate the Competition. That was a terrible segue into a name.
Well, I thought you were just saying the name like it's Eliminate.
I was trying to segue, and it didn't work.
I can understand your attempt to segue, but have you seen those things? They also made the ones that don't have a little handle on them, so they look even dumber now.
Yeah. 4 generic and a black. As an additional cost to cast Eliminate the Competition, sacrifice X creatures. Destroy X target creatures.
You really need some shit dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a 6-mana Wrath. Kind of.
It can be if you have as many creatures as they do.
Yeah.
In Shadowborn Apostles, definitely. Oh, Shadowborn Apostles would be great, because I'd just, kill, 30 creatures, and Omnixilis would get, 60 counters on them. Fun fact.
I could see playing this, but I'd have to have a deck that really wants it.
Yeah. There are definitely decks where this would work really well.
Ballads!
Yeah.
Sacrifice as many Zeppelins as you need to.
And you can splash black in that, and that would work. This card reminds me a lot of Hex.
Yeah.
Which is a 6-drop, destroys 6 target creatures.
But
I love the flavor text.
But it can destroy more than 6. So.
It can destroy... Yeah, but I've been running Hex in one of my EDH decks.
Well, now you have something to slide.
You know how hard it is to see six different creatures on the board?
I feel like maybe it's just the decks that I play. It's not that difficult.
It is Of course, I play it in King Makar, so like I'm just exiling shit constantly.
Oh yeah, no, that's a
But
terrible idea.
I'm also playing with 3 other people
who all just wrath effect all the time.
No, like they're constantly just killing each other's shit. Like I swing 10 at you. Like it is very, very inoften that I have 6 targets. I think the only time I can see 6 targets is when like Shadowborn Apostle Dex is going off. It's like, I have like 50 Shadowborns. I'm like, well, I kill 6 of them. Oh no. In response, I sacrifice all of them for 1 mana to go get a demon. It's like, it fizzles. Damn it.
Oh man, there's so many good cards in this set.
Whirler Virtuoso. I really like him.
Yeah.
He is...
One a red and a blue. When Whirler Virtuoso enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters. Pay 3 energy counters, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. On his own, he just... You get a 2/3 and a 1/1 with flying.
Yep. There was a red card in Origins that did essentially this.
I just really like the idea of most energy cards will slot into decks without having to focus on energy.
Yes.
They generally will give you enough for 1 activation.
Yes. They either give you enough for 1 activation, or it's either the card enters the battlefield and gives you enough for 1 activation, or the card makes energy some other way, and you'll eventually get to max.
Yeah, like the Aetherstorm Rock, that it's whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield,
yeah,
you get an energy.
And in every 2, you get its ability.
So yeah, whenever it attacks,
and I really like that. I think it's good. I think that's the main reason why they printed Panharmonia.
Probably.
It was because, like, okay, now, like, on one hand, like, they could have printed a card that just... like when it enters the battlefield, like do it again, like, or they could do it so that it would double the energy, and then you just pay it twice, or they could put it in somewhere.
Yeah, and I think the energy mechanic is actually really solidly developed. I
think it's done really well.
I think it's done as well as it can be.
Yeah, and I think he is one of my favorites. To the fact that you can just abuse the shit out of him, and you can keep spending energy to make 1/1s.
Just keep making Thopters.
I like the multicolor cards.
Yeah.
Like, there are surprisingly a lot, and they're all cool, and they're all interesting, and they all do fun things.
Right.
Most sets just have, like,
a lot of
2.
them have really fun names.
Yeah.
So, unlicensed disintegration.
Oh, yeah.
No one licensed this disintegration.
Like it would find you. Know what I'm gonna do? Disintegrate that fine. Crap.
It's 1 a black and a red for an instant, destroy target creature. Hey look, murder! Slightly different color murder.
It's not murder, it's, what's the red-black card?
No,
destroy target creature.
Murder, 3 mana, destroy target creature.
No, there's a red and a black spell.
Yes, there is.
It's destroy target creature, it can't be your chain.
Yes, you're thinking of Dreadbore, which destroys a creature or a planeswalker.
Yes, I was
for 2
actually
mana.
thinking a thing it's called.
Oh yeah, Terminate. But this has upside. If you control an artifact, unlicensed disintegration deals 3 damage to that creature's controller.
Which is good.
Fantastic. Terminates 2 mana, by the way.
Oh, there it is.
But this is essentially murder. I mean, it's easier to cast it than a murder, just because you don't need the double black. So if you're in the red...
Well, like, if you're
situationally easier
if you're
to
in
cast.
a not black deck, it is not. Sorry, if you're not in a not red black deck.
Right, it is situationally easier to cast.
If you're in a red black deck,
but it just has free upside.
Than murder is in a black deck, which makes sense.
It's free upside, essentially. At least in this set, you're going to have at least 1 artifact.
Yeah. Well, maybe not in red black. Red black doesn't put artifacts on. They don't have any artifacts.
But you still have artifacts that interact really well. Noxious Gear Hulk.
Yeah.
Just jam that out, and then come in with this around to destroy the last creature you need to get in unmolested.
I'm trying to think, like, yeah, black's a lot of removal, a lot of the Aetherborns, which aren't artifacts, they don't make artifacts.
There is one that does.
And there are... Okay. But the majority of them don't.
Right.
And red is mostly, like, artifacts that explode, or, like, artifacts that have haste. So there are a few there, but they don't, like...
Plus you have vehicles.
And then they're just colorless artifacts, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Artifacts can go anywhere. You can find an artifact to fit into red-black.
Oh, definitely.
I promise.
You can definitely find one, but I'm like, red-black won't have a lot. I'm like, but there are just colorless artifacts.
This is gonna see... So. This is a bomb in Limited, easily. Anybody at the pre-release who pulls this is going to be playing it.
Okay, yeah. It's definitely not a bomb. And,
Well, okay, so I used the term bomb incorrectly. But
Yeah.
no, I would say this is an auto first pick in draft.
I wouldn't say
I
auto.
don't draft very
It's
well,
not an
but
auto first pick, but
if I saw this in the pack I opened, yes.
it is definitely high up there. Which there's a good chance that it won't be.
I think it'll be playable. It'll be
playable enough. I don't think so, and the reason
if for
this
no other
is
reason than
because
you have all the removal.
that. But the problem with that is a lot of things are like creating and servo. Such as like I play a creature who brings in a Thopter. It's like, well, I kill a creature. Like, cool, I'm gonna swing at you with a Thopter. Like, are you gonna?
You still reduce the amount of damage you take.
Yes, but like you 1-for-1, and they gain 1. They essentially 2-for-1. They got rid of 1 card in your hand, and you got one card in their field. But they have another card,
Right.
which is why things that enter with another creature with a token are really, really good.
But I think that about wraps it up.
So well, nonetheless, I would like to mention vehicles at least.
Okay.
I like vehicles as a concept.
I think they're interesting. I think they definitely have their place. I don't know that they're going to be my thing, but
Yeah,
I could probably run a few.
they are things, and I'm glad that they exist. But I'm probably not going to.
That's fair.
Like, it's one of those, like, I'm not a car fan. Like, I am sad that there's not, like, a unicycle one.
I mean,
Like a 0-1 with, like, crew 1.
As far as I'm concerned, really, vehicles could have just continued to be equipment. Like, I think it's a neat way that they've done it, but I didn't think it was necessary.
I could see it. I like this because it's, at the very least, it is Wizards making something interesting to test this type of mechanic.
It's making something that will make players happy, because apparently lots of players have been requesting.
Yeah.
I've not heard any of this, but I'm fine with new things. I don't have to play them. The game is big enough that I don't have to play
and there's
things that I don't enjoy.
There's only like 5, and there's more like 10. Once again, there's only like 10 vehicles, and they're all each different and unique, and there's not one that I can say, this one is strictly better than all the rest.
Right. They all are sort of different.
Yeah, they're all different enough.
And you can Gurren log on them all together.
Yeah. Right. That would be the dream. If I have a garbage sealed pool, but happen to have one of every vehicle, that would be the dream, to just play all of them and then use them all to crew each other. Maybe one day, Colby. One day I can do it. Maybe one day I can also cast Chromanticore and swing in.
Maybe. Someday.
Chromanticore and Odric. Anyway, thank you for listening to Pick a Card, Any Card. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or card suggestions, you can email us at
pacac.cast@gmail.com.
or you can leave them in the comments below.